Hi, I'm Sarah and welcome to my knitting podcast. I'm coming to you from a very sunny but cold Philadelphia. It's a Thursday morning and I've been working on my knitting so much. I have 3 projects and I've been cycling between them, but mainly focusing on one of them. The first thing that I want to show you is the one that I have spent the most time on, and that's the Haskins pullover, which is going to be a gift from my dad. This is off the needles because I've just blocked it. I'm going to knit the body to be 15.5 inches, and I wanted to see if I would get any stretch, how much the yarn would relax. This is John Arbon's Yarnadelic in the color Black Gold of the Sun, and you can see it's a really interesting, beautiful color. It sort of comes off as this very muted green, blackened green, but actually there's loads of different colors in there, and it's woolen spun. The Haskins pullover is a bottom-up design by Veronik Avery, I think via Brooklyn Tweed, but I'm not sure. And it has this cable. It's really just, it's a bit of a lacy cable, but it's not got the lace holes. I guess it's just cables. And that is on the front and the back. I'm knitting this on a 4mm needle. My boyfriend is on a call. I hope that's not too loud. The yarn is a worsted weight yarn, but it's also a worsted spun yarn. So I found that the 4mm needle gave me the nicest fabric and put me quite close to the gauge of the pattern. The first time I cast this on, I was looking at the ribbon. I actually have it behind me. I'm all tangled. I was looking at my ribbon and I thought, that's too small. And then when I went to start the cabling and the stockinette part of the body, I counted my stitches and I was 20 odd stitches short. I guess I just counted wrong when I cast on. But I decided that I would just start again and go up a size as well because that looked tiny, and I really don't want it to be too small. So this is the after result. Oops, a little bit of mohair on there. You can see the cable patterns are really beautiful. I didn't get any length when I blocked this. In fact, I lost a little bit of length in the ribbing because I just blocked it straight down. I'm at 11 inches for the body. So I have another 4.5 to go before it would be time to, well, then I'll have to knit the sleeves up, which are just stockinette, and then join it all. I was originally trying to finish this for my dad's birthday, which is the 25th of November, but I don't think that that's going to happen. This is an extremely time-intensive project. Every row is cabling, and yeah, if I'm really like knitting a lot in a day, I can do maybe 10 rows, and that's a couple of hours, and 10 rows is just like, I don't know, maybe just over an inch. So I don't think that this is going to be done for his birthday, which is in about 2 weeks. I think what I'm going to try and do is get the body complete and then the sleeves knitted up in time for his birthday, and then I'll tell him about the jumper on his birthday, and I'll give him a really good measure across the shoulders, and then hopefully finish it for Hanukkah or Christmas. I have 2 dads, and one of them is Jewish and one of them was Christian, and this is the dad that was Christian. So they both celebrate both winter holidays, but I'll probably give this to him for Christmas because I think I have some cousins from England visiting my parents who are living in New York right now. And I think we'll get together and do some holiday thing. I think that will be a really nice gift. It's a satin sleeve design, so I really want to make sure that I'm getting the fit at the top, the upper body right. Some of the projects on Ravelry look like they're a little bit big in the upper body, and I just want to make sure that it's a nice, it's quite close fitting, and I want it to make sure like the shoulder hits right at the top of the shoulder. So I think an extra measure will do wonders just for making sure. And I'd rather it not be a secret and fit properly than it be a secret but not fit well. I'm erring on the side of caution lengthwise. I'm adding 1/2 inch to the length because since it's bottom up, I don't think I can lengthen it after the fact because there's no rows of pure stockinette. I don't think that I could Kitchener in to this cable pattern to add some length, and I can't just add to the bottom. So I really want to make sure it's long enough, and after blocking, it's about 42, 43 inches around, which matches the other. I got my other dad to measure one of his current favorite jumpers, and this matches the circumference of that, which fits well. So I have high hopes that this will be really nice, if not done on time. But I love it. Look at that. It's coming out so good. So another, I don't know, I've got quite a lot more to go on the body. But the way I've been doing my projects recently has been I'll do this for like a week, and then I'll work on one of my other 2 projects for a couple days, and then I'll work on this again, and then I'll work on the other project for a couple days. So I've been switching between the 3, but with this as my main one. And it helps because it's just kind of nice to do slightly different hand movements, and also it let me block this. So I didn't get any extra length, which I was hoping I would get like 1 inch or 2. But I guess it's just not that type of yarn. And I think I already said, but the yarn is from John Arbin, Yarnadelic Worsted in the colorway Black Gold of the Sun, and I'm using a 4mm needle. One more up close of the fabric. And that's my first project. I feel like I'm speeding through today. Let's just get on to the second project that I have to show you, which has also received a lot of work and a block since my last episode. This is my Lang Cloud jumper. The pattern is the Great Lakes Pullover by Ozetta, and I matched gauge, I think, and I'm knitting it on 4mm needles, I think. I finished the body, the back and front. I don't remember how far I was last time. I think I had just done a little bit on the back and on the front. I finished the body. I have done no yarn management. I did the neckline, blocked it, tried it on. Everything looks great, except this hole that's appeared in the front of the jumper. Look at this. Isn't that so strange? I wonder if it's just a weak spot in the yarn that just broke when I unraveled it. It also could be my cat. I don't think that it's moth related, but there's a hole right there. I'm gonna sew it up before I get back to knitting on this. But isn't that weird? Nothing I can do at this point except for patch it up sooner rather than later. But yeah, so I did the body. It was such a quick knit. I actually really like the back colors more than I like the front colors. But I didn't do any color management, and actually looking at it in the camera, they look really similar. The only thing left on this is to knit the ribbing, seam up the sides, and then knit the sleeves, which sounds like a lot, but this I think is going to go very quickly. My only concern is that I might run out of yarn, and if I do, I will just buy another skein. Not worry too much about it. I thought about maybe like cropping it or trying to see about knitting the sleeves before finishing the body, but with the way that I'm knitting it flat, I need to seam it before I knit the sleeves because I'm gonna knit the sleeves in the round, and it just seemed like a lot of faff. So if I need another skein, I'll just buy another skein. I'll try this on. I'm really excited for this to be done. It's very soft. It was like a fun, breezy project, and I really like this pattern. I've knit another Lakes pattern by Ozetta, and it fits really well. I enjoy wearing it, so that was one of the reasons I wanted to knit another one. This hole is so unfortunate, and it's a little curled up on the side, so there's that shoulder. My hair's kind of in the way. There's the other shoulder, and the length is, and it's about this long. So, I mean, it's very rolled up. It's not going to be too oversized, but it's definitely going to be big enough. I really like the way that the neck looks. Folded collars are very in right now. This isn't folded, but I kind of like the sort of mock neck non-folded collar, just as a bit of a change. Even if I wanted to, I could add like another panel like this down the sides to make it even bigger, and that would probably look really cool. I'm thinking about that now, although I don't think it's going to be too small, because look at, this is not me stretching it at all. This is just me unrolling. So we'll see. So this is my laying cloud. I think I'm using 4mm needles. I made a couple of swatches, and I just really wanted to try this yarn out. As I'm very into the different colorways. I like how it's sort of a mystery. And I think it's good practice to let go of control a little bit and just knit whatever color comes next. And it's like a combination of lightweight, because even though I knit it at a 4mm needle, it still feels quite airy. Maybe that's because it's a blown yarn. I'm not sure. And I really need to patch this hole up. Isn't that annoying? It would be nice as a vest too. I think it would go quite well with this denim dress that I have on. So this one this one is sort of next in my rotation to get a bit of knitting love. And I genuinely don't think it will take me that long to finish this. I'm going to New York this weekend for a wedding. My cousin is getting married, and I'm trying to decide what project I want to take. I can't take my dad's jumper because he'll be there, and I don't really want him to see. Although I could just take a sleeve and then still be making progress. I'm not sure. But I was thinking about taking this. I don't know. It's just ribbing. It's kind of bulky though, that's the problem. Anyway, I'll put some rib at the bottom, a couple inches on the front and on the back, mattress stitch up the sides, and then knit the sleeves, and then this will be done. So that's my second project. There's not too much left to do, I think. I don't know. The other two projects I feel are moving very slowly, so this one's kind of a treat because it's just knitting itself basically, and I really like looking at all the colors. Gotta fix that hole though. Oh, and the pattern is by Ozetta, and it's great. I really like it. I've made a few of her patterns now. Actually, I might have just made the Lakes and the Great Lakes, but I've really liked both patterns. I don't think I mentioned at the start what I was wearing, but I think I've actually worn this like a couple episodes in a row or something like it. It's the vest that I knit this summer for my trip to Shetland, although I didn't finish it in time to wear in Shetland. I was steeking while I was there though. It's based loosely on a Marie Wallen pattern. I think possibly the chestnut. I can't believe I don't remember. but I changed all of the colors and I knit at a very different gauge. And I changed all of the numbers because I I just didn't really feel like knitting such a close fitting garment. I do plan on adding sleeves to this, but when I finished it, I put a bit of ribbing at the armhole so that I could wear it in the meantime. And I'm still a bit on the fence. I think it's nice as a vest, but it's a little bulky in the shoulders, so maybe it would be better just to add some sleeves and have it be a cardigan. Or maybe I should just knit another Fair Isle jumper cardigan and keep this as a vest. I'm really not sure. I have enough yarn to knit a whole nother one of these. So I could just do that. Anyway, it's not like front of mind for me right now, but that is this cardigan. I used a 3.5mm needle. I just love the fabric that my color work has when it's Jameson and Smith and Jameson of Shetland yarn all combined. And I just love the fabric that comes out when I knit Fair Isle on 3.5mm needles, although those are larger needles than recommended generally, and it's a much looser gauge. But I think it looks good. I don't know. And I did corrugated ribbing and these beautiful buttons that I got in a shop in Lerwick. I'm very happy with it. Okay, I'll show you another whip. It hasn't been getting work done on it, but I'm going to start working on it over the next 2 weeks. So I think it's worth reminding you of. It's my Abstracta pullover. This one is in a very similar place to my dad's jumper. The body is done. I guess this one's further along than my dad's jumper. This is a pattern by Albiona McLaughlin, and she released it at the beginning, towards the beginning of the year. I think actually no, it was supposed to be released towards the beginning of the year, but then she pushed the release until springtime. And I'm using yarn that was given to me by my friend Bailey. She grew up on a farm in Wisconsin, and this is all yarn from the animals on her farm, and it's beautiful. It's 3 different colors. I'm modifying this pattern a bit because I just want it to fit a little bit better than I think it would fit if I followed the pattern exactly. The pattern doesn't have any shoulder shaping. It's just like you stick the armholes, knit up, and then done. I just don't really like the way that sort of thing fits me. So I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do. I might do something similar to the Stick Season pullover, which is a pattern by Rebecca Clow or Crea Bea that I've knit, and I love the way that fits. And I also replicated that shape for my tessellated pullover, and that fits great as well. But I might do something different. I haven't decided. But once I finish this one, which I think is probably going to be the next thing I finish, I feel like it's gotten much darker. That's better. Okay, now it's not so dark. Yeah, once I finish the Lang Cloud jumper, I think that I'm going to work this into the rotation because I do really like working on multiple projects at a time, and I want to get this done this winter so that I can wear it. I had to unravel and re-knit this because I've struggled with moths, and I'm trying to deal with it. I try to not leave any yarn out and cycle everything through the freezer pretty constantly. But you know, it feels like an uphill battle. I'm just doing my best. And so I did that for this, and yeah, it's ready to go once I finish one of these projects. I'd love to get this done by the end of the year so that I can wear it in the cold. So that's my Abstracta pullover. The sun is coming and going, and it's quite hot when the sun hits me. So I feel like the video gets really dark or really bright sometimes. Anyway, my last project is maybe the one that's most exciting. For for most people. It's the Stephen West MusiKAL. I can't imagine that anybody is at this point still not having seen spoilers, because Stephen West released the final design and it's like all over Ravelry and Instagram and wherever. But if you are worried about seeing spoilers, click away from the video now. So I'll show you my shawl. Here's clue 1. Here's clue 2. I've got this on a very long needle. Here clue 3 is. And you can see I've been knitting on the border. I'm 2 stripes in out of 3, which is far. I'm really getting there. And I'm knitting this, just some logistics. I'm knitting this on 4mm needles in mohair, all mohair. I'm using this light green is from Loop Yarn Shop in Philly. It's their in-house mohair brand. The white is from Neighborhood Fiber Co. It's the mohair. I don't think that they stock this type of mohair anymore, but it's a 60% mohair, 40% silk, which is a combo that I love. And the dark green and sort of plummy brown are from Lang in their silk mohair, which is also a 60/40. I really like that mohair too. And yeah, I'll run through this quickly. I've spoken about this a couple times in my recent episodes. This, I think, is the 6th year that I've sort of attempted the MusiKAL. I've finished, this will be the 4th shawl that I completely finished, I think. Yeah, the 4th one. And every year I have a lot of fun doing it. I do have some thoughts on this year's. I think this is almost easier to see if there's like something behind it. So you can see the colors instead of the light just going all the way through. I love to knit brioche, so I've been enjoying knitting this last section. But I think this year I've been a little bit disappointed in the design. I promised myself I wouldn't modify anything significant about the design this year, because I end up doing that every year and then I lose steam or I make it like so much more work than it needs to be. So I just decided I wanted to knit it as it came this year. But I don't really feel like there's a lot of it's not very cohesive design. Every year I like clue 1 the best, and it's the same this year. I love clue 1, and it's just like none of the features in clue 1 really map into any of the other clues, and sort of the same for the other sections. Like clue 1 and 2 I do think go together quite well, but then clue 3, it just doesn't seem like there's any thought for the other side of the shawl. And I'm for a contrasting section, but imagine if this section also had like some welts in it. That would be really cool. Or if there was like a couple of eyelet rows separating these two to sort of bring it all together. Like what if there were some eyelet rows that weren't wiggly in these sections? I think that would be really cool. But it just doesn't really seem like there was even an effort to do that. And the welts especially are 3-dimensional in clue 1. And then there's no other 3-dimensional aspects anywhere else in the shawl. But it would be really nice if there was. Like imagine if in the border, instead of these garter sections, it was a welt. I think that would be really cool looking. A lot of knitting, but I think it would be really cool looking, and it would also give some nice weight to the edge of the shawl and sort of tie it all together in a way. I know that the brioche section is sort of a callback to the brioche here, but it doesn't really have that curved sort of structural effect when it's in this last section. And I don't know, like, I wish that there was one of the garter sections here separating section 2 from section 3. Instead, it goes straight from the eyelets into the brioche. I do think I would still be thinking all of these things even if I hadn't knit this in mohair. Actually, I think that the mohair kind of helps it look a bit more cohesive design-wise. So all in all, I think that the final shawl will be something I'll really love wearing. It's definitely going to be my most wearable MusiKAL because it's going to be really long and it matches my winter coat perfectly. But I'm just a little bit, I feel a little underwhelmed because it is so much knitting and the mystery is a really fun part of it. I love that. But I kept sort of wondering when Stephen West was going to bring it all together, and it hasn't happened yet, and all the clues are out. So I don't know. I've seen a couple of versions that people have modified, and I really like them. And I don't know if there was like, I don't know. I'm really curious to know what you think. This is part of the mystery. I'm not like upset about it at all. But I just think there's so much potential, I guess. Like there's so many cool directions that this could take, each section of this that it could take. And I just don't really feel like any of those opportunities were really seized. Even with the brioche border at the end, like there's some cool brioche things that I think could have played into it more. It's a fun thing to do every year. I'm not sure if I'll keep doing it, but I probably will. I really enjoy like knitting along with everyone and seeing how other people knitting the same pattern end up with different looking shawls or similar looking shawls. And I really enjoy the sense of community. And I do like Stephen West as a designer. I've made quite a lot of his patterns now because I did his year of socks and I made like 8 of them. But yeah, I guess I just like, I wish there was a little bit more cohesiveness through the whole design. I don't think that any of that is going to be apparent when I'm wearing it. But at the same time, when I knit a shawl, I'm not really knitting it for how it looks when I'm wearing it, although that sounds strange. I feel like you spread it out and you're like, look at what I made. And if you want something that's just going to look good when you're wearing it, you should probably just knit a scarf or a cowl and not like a big triangular shawl. So those are my thoughts. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. It's not done yet. I still have one more brioche section to go. And I've just started it. You can see the brioche section is going to be green on the front and white in the back. Because you can see my brioche is slowly getting lighter as it progresses through the border. And then I think I will add another little garter section. There isn't one in the pattern, but I think it will need a garter section before the I-cord border because I even when I go up a couple needle sizes, I sometimes knit I-cord borders a little bit tightly. So I'm going to knit, I think, either a white or a brown one. And then I'll do a white and brown striped I-cord bind off. So that's my plan. It actually has been going a little bit faster than I thought it would, than I was worried that it would. So I think that this is feasible to finish in, I don't know, maybe like 6 days of knitting. I might take this to New York with me this weekend. It actually squishes down quite small because it's mohair. So you can see it's like squishes down quite small. And it's very easy knitting at this point because there are no more difficult rows. I've just done the last sort of shaping row, so now it's just 8 brioche rows and a couple garter rows and then the I-cord border. So I'm free of the pattern at this point, just knitting to the end, and then it will be done. And then I need to weave in quite a lot of ends. But in the second half of the shawl, I've been doing it as I go. So there's no ends to weave in from this woven section. Oh, I guess there's two ends to weave in from this woven section. There's none to weave in from the brioche border, which I'm hoping that when it's done, we'll sort of have a blendy gradient look. And then I do have quite a lot of ends to weave in from the other sections. So I don't mind weaving ends in, actually. I just like every once in a while I'll sit down and I'll just set a 15-minute timer and weave in ends until the timer runs out. And I find that to get them done pretty quickly. I messed up the increases in the first brioche section in that I didn't do any increases in this section, but just the nature of brioche, you can't even really tell. You can kind of see if you look really close that this section juts out and this section doesn't, but I mean, I think it's okay. And obviously same on the other end. But just like the stretch of the stitch pattern makes it all fine. I know that I've been kind of critical of it. And I think that is just sort of part of it, I guess. That's part of the mystery. I'll probably do it again next year, although I'm definitely going to allow myself the freedom to modify again next year because I do have fun with that. And I only knit, this is the only shawl I knit in a year, so I'm down to commit to like a big modification next time around if that's something that I end up wanting to do. So yes, I do find it really enjoyable. And I was making some YouTube shorts about the shawl because I wanted to be able to talk to people as it was coming out, and I only record videos every other week, and that was really fun. Yeah, really fun, kind of spooky to have such a wide audience briefly, but I enjoy just like having a bit of a quicker back and forth and seeing other people's versions. Although I found out that they like set filter on your shorts that you can't retroactively turn off. So when I uploaded, it was like strangely filtered, and then I deleted it and then I uploaded it again and it was the same thing happened, so I just left it. But since then I found out that like deep in the settings you can turn that off, and I've turned it off now, but you can't like go back and unapply it from old videos unless you delete them and re-upload them, which I don't really care to do. So that was kind of interesting. They also don't let you pick a thumbnail for YouTube shorts, so my thumbnails are weird, just like a frame. Again, I don't really care that much about that. The past weeks have been very busy. It was my 11-year anniversary with my boyfriend, and we took a trip up to the Poconos. I've never been there because I really wanted to go leaf peeping, and it was the right time of year to do that if we went north a little bit. We rented a car, we drove up, we had dinner in Scranton. At the recommendation of my neighbor, we went to this restaurant. It was not very good, but it was kind of a fun experience. And then we stayed in this really cute hotel on a lake. And I think it's the off season because it's not really summer weather, but it's not skiing weather either. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. And Hawley, it was in a town, Hawley, I think, Hawley. And then we went to this old silk mill on a river. And that was so cool. They had all the machines, and we got to see where this silk was. It was like they manufactured yarn, silk thread, and it's not working anymore because it was like a river mill. So it stopped manufacturing, I think, in the 1800s. But they were still making fabric there until the 1960s. So that was very interesting. And there's a lot of little artist studios in there and a beautiful waterfall. And I bought 2 skeins of yarn in a yarn store. I'll show you. Where are they? I wanted to get something from a local dyer, and I got these. It's from the Sheepyshire, and it's like a very, the sun. It's a gray black. It's variegated. And this is for a project that I have been ideating for ages, like over a year, which is probably something I won't cast on until next year. And I want to do like lots of different stripes with all of the different vibrant colors of superwash merino fingering weight that I accumulated mostly in 2018 and 2019. And I think that would be a really fun project. And I think I want to do some sort of like early 2000s stripes color combo, and black yarn is key to that. So I got these 2 skeins from the Sheepyshire. The colorway is Lights Out, and it's also a sock yarn. It's a 75-25 fingering weight. So if I don't end up making that, I can always turn these into socks. But I really like it. I was happy to find these. And it's kind of fun to get yarn on a trip like that. I went to a wedding last weekend in Boston, and it was a friend from college who was getting married, and it was a great time. I had a really lovely visit. The wedding was in Salem, which I'd never been to before. A very cool place, and I just loved to see my friends, party on the dance floor. The wedding was very nice. And then this weekend I'm going to another wedding in New York, which is my cousin's wedding. And I've sewn a jumpsuit, so I'm really excited to wear that. I'm not excited to put the shoes on that I wore last weekend again, because it took like a full 48 hours to feel my feet after the wedding. But I think it will be okay. And I'm a little like blah this week because I have a scan coming up next week, which I have every 6 months, and I hate it. It's always a very stressful time, and it makes me act a little bit erratically. So I'm aware that that's coming. It's happening next week, and I'm just trying to keep it together. Not really attempting to stay calm, but attempting to get through it all. So maybe I will cast something on as a little bit of a distraction. That would be actually a pretty good distraction. So I have a pretty busy weekend and week coming up, and yeah, that's about it. I hope that you've had a good 2 weeks. It's finally gotten cold here, and it's knit weather. I've been having a really good time knitting on all my projects. I hope that you're having a good time. If you knitting. If you don't, doing whatever else. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in about 2 weeks. Bye.